These are 10 bands or artists that I only need the greatest hits from, and actually, we've got 16 here on the list. First, we'll go through the bands that have a few decent deep cuts, and then as we move closer to number one, we'll get into those bands that have absolutely nothing beyond the singles, which is a tragedy. But hey, let's get into the list. And let it be known that I only actually have 2 physical copies. I was just looking for a certain greatest hits collection, but I've only got 2 that we're talking about today. So let's just jump into the list. And the list begins with one that I actually have with U2. I have the U2 18 singles, a pretty great greatest hits collection, if I do say so myself. And with this band, with U2, I really enjoy the rattle and the hum, which is insane because I hate live albums. That's like the worst, most wretched part of being a music fan is the putrid live albums. But other than that, a U2 greatest hits, this has everything that I want, and especially with The Saints Are Coming and Window in a Sky, this is just a perfect record front to back. So, sorry U2, the rest of your material is okay, but everything that I need is right here on that one. So next up we have the band Boston. And Boston actually have some pretty decent deep cuts. They've got Don't Tell Me, To Be a Man, Surrender to Me, Star Spangled, Something About You, Smokin', Rock and Roll Band, Party, Let Me Take You Home Tonight. But Smokin' and Rock and Roll Band are pretty much out of those. Those are songs that I like by Boston, but I only revisit Smokin' and Rock and Roll Band if I even revisit those at all. The rest of those have pretty much vanished from my memory. I think a lot of those I liked because I saw them in concert, and they played a lot of deep cuts when I saw them, and they were all very entertaining. But unfortunately with Boston, they have been pegged in my mind, in my ranking system as well, here on the channel. Boston has just progressively gotten worse. They've got the worst album trajectory. Like, they had the greatest album, one of the greatest albums ever, and then they just got worse and worse with each album. And when you get to Life, Love, and Hope, it's just a bubbling mass of undeveloped slop. I don't know what happened, but I'm still a fan of Boston, and I have hope. I have faith, hope, and love for a great 7th album, because they're coming up on their 50th anniversary. So we're hoping for a really great return to form. I know Tom has been writing songs for 20 years for this upcoming album that might or may not happen. So fingers crossed. And the next one, I actually have the greatest hits as well, a physical copy. Rob Zombie, Past, Present, and Future. Mine has this little scratch out here because I was still living at my parents' house when I bought this back in 2003, and I did not want them to see the name of track 16. Something about liquor. But Rob Zombie's got some new stuff coming out, right? And it sounds promising. But Rob Zombie, for me, he's got about... and I'm a fan of White Zombie as well, but Rob Zombie has about 8 really good deep cuts, most of which, surprisingly, are from Educated Horses that a lot of fans didn't enjoy. And sometimes I can be a hipster that way, because I really enjoyed most of Educated Horses, and Hellbilly Deluxe has some beefy deep cuts that really do it for my ears as well. But this collection, just one of the best greatest hits collections ever. You get like a really great DVD CD combo. You get a picture of what Rob Zombie looks like from the year 0, like from the Big Bang to 2003. You get all kinds of stuff about his movies, about his horror love. So while I do enjoy some deep cuts from Rob Zombie, the greatest hits, there's 19 tracks here. 10 music videos, and the music disc is just great. It's got all the big ones. It's got the White Zombie stuff. So this is just a complete greatest hits, and it's just got a lot of great. It's got all the big ones, right? You have Thunder Kiss 65, More Human Than Human, Dragula, Living Dead Girl, Feel So Numb, Never Gonna Stop. And then the new songs on here are pretty great as well. But I would consider myself a pretty big fan of Rob Zombie. But some of the deep cuts, come on, man. You could have done a little bit better all on the album tracks for us rock fans, right? Moving on, and this is the one that I was looking for. I can't believe I sold it. I probably sold it to a bookstore for like 15 cents or something. No Doubt's Greatest Hits. I got Queen's Greatest Hits, but where is my No Doubt Greatest Hits? So, No Doubt. I've been a fan since they got on the alternative rock scene. Making Out and Different People are my favorite deep cuts by No Doubt. Total Hate 95 is fun. I've got a lot of live versions of that, oddly enough, even though I hate live music. Greener Pastures, Get on the Ball. Those are other songs from their pre-millionaire days, pre-plastic surgery days as well. But the singles collection that I sold to Second and Charles for like 3 pennies, those are going away now too. That's amazing. A singles collection in its glorious silver box that I gave away. That really shows how strong this band's singles are. There is a No Doubt's Greatest Hits. It's a no skip Greatest Hits. Before I got into alternative rock, I remember my mom being irritated by the song Don't Speak. She couldn't explain it, but it was just one of those songs that grated on my mom's nerves. But other than that, my parents, particularly my mom, really enjoyed the rest of No Doubt's hits, and everybody does, right? Everybody loves No Doubt. While their albums kind of have hills and valleys, the No Doubt Hits collection from 2003, man, there was some good stuff coming out in 2003. It's just a no-skip banger for the ages, from front to back. Even the deep cuts and rarities on that collection are pretty good. But for me, my favorite No Doubt song is Sunday Morning. That's top tier stuff from Gwen Stefani. And I know you're good. I know you're good. I know you're real good. And now, I know you real good. So we're moving on. We're going to stop being cringy and move on to a kind of a cringy band, Guns N' Roses. Let's see. Do Guns N' Roses have any deep cuts that are worth checking out? Better, Used to Love Her, and One in a Million are my favorites. I Don't Care About You is another favorite of mine. And other than that, so there's about 4 deep cuts that I really like. Those I was kind of, trying to find something really edgy and fun as a teenager, and I found it in those songs like One in a Million and Used to Love Her, I Don't Care About You. Those are kind of controversial, but Guns N' Roses, other than that, give me a decent greatest hits collection. Maybe I would make my own track list for it, because I know Guns N' Roses have one. It looks a little whack. I don't know. I'd probably rearrange it a little bit. But yeah, Guns N' Roses, give me the big hits, and that's really all I need. Throw on some of my favorites at the end of it, and that would satisfy me. They're full listen, because I've listened to every song ever. By Guns N' Roses, at least. The rest of their catalog wasn't that fun to get through, in my opinion. Number 11, a much different band. The very poppy Simple Plan. They got a song called 2, which is a great album track. A Million Pictures of You is okay. Iconic was an unforgettable kind of live staple when I saw them with the Offspring and Sum 41. That was a blast. Blimps in the Sky. But the rest of Simple Plan's discography, Yeah. Oh man. They don't have a greatest hits collection, which is weird because they have 27 hits. But that's kind of me being OCD and generous. That would be a singles collection. Simple Plan. They're great live. They're a great live band. They seem like really good dudes. And they've got, like in reality, like an actual hit. They have 11 or so actual big hits. Oh, and Iconic, despite not being a simple plan single, it charted. So definitely check Iconic out. But Simple Plan's albums front to back can be a bit of a slog to get through. You know, it's really frustrating to hear a band of grown men trying to be teenagers when they're in their 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s. It's a little off-putting. It's a little weird. And I know I do enjoy the band more now that I saw an interview with Pierre where he said, you know, his favorite bands are like heavy, like Metallica and Avenged Sevenfold, and even heavier stuff. And he wishes that he could sound like that, but he can't. He said, you know, there's only so much you can do with your voice. You can change your appearance. You can change your clothes. You can change your weight. You can change your personality. You can change your eye color. I could have hair, but you can't really change your voice. So he said, you know, he's got a very poppy voice, and there's nothing he can do about that. He wishes he could sound like Billy Joe Armstrong or Avenged Sevenfold or Metallica, but it's just not in the cards. You gotta sing in the range that you're given, or give up. So next up, we got number 10. We're in the top 10 now, the actual list. Yay! So maybe we're gonna like less of the deep cuts by these people, and they're going to be less good, in my opinion. Or, you know, their catalogs are less good. I like a lesser percentage of what they do. And number 10, we got Avril Lavigne, or Avril Lavigne, as some people say, Canadians and Americans and such. Avril Lavigne's second album, Under My Skin, has a few tracks that I do get down with, even all these years later. Take Me Away is a great opener and goes harder than any of her other songs, I think. He Wasn't rises above B-side trash, garbage. But really, other than that, I think Avril Lavigne's greatest hits is where I could stream essentially any song that I wanted to hear from this nice young lady. So Avril Lavigne, I'm a fan, but you know, I get it. You know, the pop leaning rock stars, a lot of times it's about the big singles, and so maybe the albums are purposely constructed like that, kind of like planned obsolescence. Like you don't want to spend too much time on the other songs if you're going to make $1 trillion off of "He was a skater boy, I said see you later boy, he was a good enough for rubs up through the ditches and burn through the bitches, slam in the deck of my bigula." Nickelback is going to make this list, and I like Nickelback. Okay, stop. Remember, I think Chad, of course his name is Chad, I think Chad from Nickelback, he said, if you keep on talking about the hatred of Nickelback, he's gonna kick your ass. And I've been trying to roll with that. Like let's just, you know, let's stop with the Nickelback hate. Okay, we get it. Some bands are just mid, and that kind of is a crossover list with this list, right? These bands might be kind of mid, but Nickelback, they're not that bad. They're really not that bad. Money Bought and Woke Up This Morning are good songs off of Silver Side Up, which is not a terrible album. But going forward after Silver Side Up, I remember going out and buying Long Road, and I was just so disappointed in that one that I knew I wouldn't bother buying a Nickelback CD beyond that point. If somebody gave me one for Christmas or birthday or Valentine's Day, that'd be fine. I'd keep it. But really, from Nickelback, all that I need is the greatest hits. I'll put Far Away on repeat, and I'm good. Because, I feel like there is a great band in there somewhere. Chad Kroeger, he's a decent singer. He writes decent songs, even if there's some kind of formulaic, steal people's money kind of vibe to it. But they're not a bad band. Like the guitars, the bass, the drums, the songwriting, it's not bad. It's not barftastic. It's not giving me seizures like Weezer's Pacific Daydream did. I'm pretty sure that actually gave me a migraine and killed me when it came out. Oh God, I can't even talk about Pacific Daydream. It's so But Nickelback's okay, man. Nickelback is okay. They're in my band ranking. They're pretty low, but they got the greatest hits. You put on Nickelback's greatest hits, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The album artwork is terrible. There's 1,000 songwriters, but it's fine. Nickelback is good in little tiny doses. Like I said, I love Far Away. Oh man, back in the day, I was falling in love with these girls that worked at Walmart. And far away, I miss you. And I sing like Tom DeLonge. And I love you. And I forgive you for being long, long Tom DeLonge. That was amazing. We're number 8. Number 8, we have Disturbed. A band that's been in the headlines recently for controversy. Maybe I need to run into the controversy head on, but I'm just so sick of it. I'm sick of people being offended. I'm sick of people blah blah blah. I want to enjoy music. Just want to enjoy the music. And Disturbed have some deep cuts that I do enjoy, like Shout, Dropping Plates. Those are some decent album cuts. But from their second album, Believe, on to their most recent albums, Disturbed have become a singles band. Their albums are not terrible if you listen to them front to back. I had an okay time listening to every song ever by Disturbed, but a solid greatest hits compilation from Disturbed is really all I need from my bald-headed brother that's making some of you guys mad. And you know what? I don't even know why he's making people mad. But Disturbed are a pretty good band, and I'm sick of the clickbaity videos and articles like Disturbed going on hiatus. Oh my God. Dude, their album cycle's over. Every band does that. They put out an album, they go on tour, they take a break. Rinse, repeat. But these headlines are like the end of Disturbed. Yeah, they're tired. Yeah, they don't know when they're coming back because they're taking a break. They're done with the same thing with Green Day. I've started seeing these bad news for Green Day fans. No new music. Duh. They just finished the Saviors tour. And Billy Joe says he's writing. So there's no bad news for Disturbed or Green Day fans. It's just that's the nature of it. No band is just constantly 24/7 all day, every day, putting out music, recording music, putting out music. That's ridiculous. Shut up! Okay, we've covered Nickelback and Disturbed. Very good. Very good, people. Now we've got we've got the Limp Bizkit, the Limp Bizkit band. And I do like two different versions of Rollin'. Air Raid was the hit version, and the Urban Assault version, they're nearly the same quality. Ready to Go by Lil Wayne is a standalone single. And so if I got a greatest hits from Limp Bizkit, I'm always talking about Linkin Park. I'm never talking about Limp Bizkit. So if I call them Linkin Park, just know I'm talking about Limp Bizkit in this case. I definitely need more from Linkin Park than a greatest hits. But Limp Bizkit, I would demand Ready to Go be on a greatest hits because that's one of my favorite songs of all time with them and Lil Wayne. So if I get a greatest hits by Limp Bizkit with Ready to Go and the Urban Assault version of Rollin', 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 what? Then that would be great. I did initially like Limp Bizkit Still Sucks, but I've never revisited it, and I don't think I ever will. I tried to skim through it now, and it's just like, it's an okay rock record. It's kind of that Nickelback level, right? It just doesn't get it on every day and every night. All right, next up, this is a band that gets a lot of, all these bands, I think most of these bands I'm talking about get a lot of crap. And like, I'm kind of defending them here, even though I only need their greatest hits. You know, it's rare that a band has like 100% rocking. You know, like Green Day, Linkin Park. Like there's some bands that are, you know, epic, just all over the place. But next up, we got Rage Against the Machine. And with them, I like Bomb Track, which is not a single, but it feels like one. It was in The Matrix, right? That's where I heard it the most from. But honestly, I think a greatest hits by Rage Against the Machine might be too much Rage for me. I like maybe 9 of their singles. And it's really cool that every local band in history is ending their show with Killing in the Name of. But that's starting to get old, guys. We got a really great metal scene here in South Carolina. But I swear to Rob Zombie, if one more freaking band ends their show with Killing in the Name of, and it's just so edgy, just, if you won't do what you tell me, if you won't do what you tell me. I mean, it's fun. But I had more fun when the bands were like pulling people on stage to sing along to Korn's Blind. That was the only time I ever saw a local metal band do an encore, and they came out and did Korn's Blind, and they pulled me on stage and had me singing, I'm so blind. Oh my God, I could see, I'm going blind. I could see. Anyway, Rage Against the Machine kind of sucks. Number 5, we got Aerosmith, who, you know, have some new stuff out right now. And Aerosmith are a band with more greatest hits collections than perhaps any artist that's ever walked the earth in the entire history since the Big Bang. Since the dawn of man really isn't that long. Holy crap. They release a new greatest hits, Aerosmith, every 5 seconds. And they really need to stop. Because it's just wow. But I'm kind of a weirdo with Aerosmith. I know most people like the old stuff and that's it. But 9 Lives is my favorite Aerosmith album. And even Honkin' on Bobo has some decent songs. Oh, and their new songs with Youngblood, they're all right. I was listening to Only Angel earlier today and it was pretty good. But I could take an Aerosmith greatest hits if you stuck in Taste of India. You could probably replace Eat the Rich with Taste of India. And that would really be all I need from Aerosmith. The rest of their other albums are just kind of a slog to get through. I didn't grow up on the early era of Aerosmith. I was born in 1985. So Aerosmith was kind of on that upward incline decline of like Lovin' in an Elevator. I think I heard that when I was a little kid. Or Dude Looks Like a Lady. I probably heard that when I was a real little toddler, and I was like, that's okay. But then when I was getting into alternative rock and punk and metal, Aerosmith, were throwing out 8,000 greatest hits records. And, just stop, please, God. I need one great, the big one, big ones. I had big ones. My dad had big ones, the CD. And then I downloaded legally from Kazaa. I downloaded that one with the black and white cover. But good Lord, there's been 5,000 trillion Aerosmith greatest hits collections a day since then, and I'm done with it. Okay, I'm excited about the Youngblood stuff, but please God, Aerosmith or whoever's doing it, you don't need a greatest hits put out every single flipping year. Number four, we got Will Smith. And I do enjoy Barbershop intro. Is that an intro? Barbershop something off of Will's latest album. But aside from that bop, a greatest hits would be fine. I grew up in the era of the Men in Black, not the Part 2 anthem, but Men in Black 1, Miami, the Wild Wild West, Getting Jiggy with It, and Just the Two of Us. And that's it. That's all I need from Will Smith. I've listened to his full catalog. It's very bad. It's very, very bad. It's less than ideal. But he's made his money, as he told us in Barbershop. But Will Smith, getting jiggy with it. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the bitches of Garage Inc. is over there. I definitely need more than greatest hits from Metallica, which is good because they're not going to put out one, right? I got Nirvana's greatest hits, but I got all of Nirvana. Anyway, where are we at? Number 3, we're in the top 3. We got CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, another perfect band. This is the first one, right, where I don't need any deep cuts from CCR. Their full album, Listen, I did it a few years ago, and it was pretty good. I had a pretty good time because I wasn't super familiar with CCR. It was another one that my dad had the greatest hits. I liked all of those, and I listened to the albums, and I just kind of had a mediocre time going through them, listening to every song by this band. But I won't be revisiting anything by CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival. My dad's greatest hits collection from my childhood, or a new greatest hits collection perhaps, that is 100% all I need from Creedence Clearwater Revival. And who knows who's getting the money from it, right? Royalties, man, I got 23 cents in royalties from Spotify. I don't know what I'm going to do with all that money, but I'm a professional musician now. Thank you very much. I'll take my 23 cents and I'll spend it however I want to. Ain't no puppy cat. Number 2, we got Creed as a band that I only need their greatest hits. And honestly, I don't even think I'd buy a greatest hits by Creed. But they are a definitive singles band. They're the biggest, most overplayed ballads. They're coming from Creed. Like the most overplayed songs you've heard in your life. And then the rest of their catalog is just B-side drivel for the most part. Maybe Human Clay. When it came out, I was maybe 14 or 15. I think I rocked Beautiful and Say I a little bit. But yeah, give me the greatest hits of Creed. And honestly, I wouldn't even play it that much. Higher is up there with Stain's It's Been a While and POD's Alive. If you were around in 2001, I was learning to drive in 2000, 2001. And those 3 songs, Higher, It's Been a While, and POD's Alive, they were played on a never freaking ending loop from like 1999 to 2030 billion. They're good songs, but Holy Toledo, Jilly Bow Leg Week. I don't really need to hear Creed anymore. They are my 107th favorite band, but honestly, I don't revisit their music at all these days. And if Creed dropped a new record, I would be upset because I know that I'd force myself to listen to it and there wouldn't be a single freaking song on there that didn't sound like Dustland Bull Honky honking on Bobo. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches, and love left a window in the sky, and to love the saints are coming. Number 1, we got the ultimate greatest hits band. This is the perfect band that need only a greatest hits. You never, ever, 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 ever need anything by this band other than their greatest hits. And it is this honor, this dishonorable honor, goes to Three Doors Down. And they are the best example of this idea. Three Doors Down have 12 singles that mostly fall under the category of that's an okay song. And a few songs that are spectacular, like Be Like That, It's Not My Time, and even the overplayed Kryptonite. And unfortunately, there's no deep cut in sight that does anything that music should do from Three Doors Down. That's it. They're the greatest hits band. You could call Three Doors Down that. All their singles are mid to great, and then all their album cuts are nothingness. If you are a Three Doors Down fan, that's great. Like I said, I consider myself a fan of all these artists. They're all in my ranking system here on the channel. But these bands we've talked about today, these 16 bands, these 10 bands or whatever, and Will Smith, the singles are clearly being picked correctly for these bands because nothing else is popping off. Like I said, No Doubt feels like the best band in this list to me. I'm looking back through the list. Maybe U2 and No Doubt feel like great bands. It's just when you listen to the full albums, you gotta skip some stuff. Rob Zombie's a lot of fun. Boston's a lot of fun. Avril Lavigne. But let me know in the comments what your greatest hits bands are, and we'll have a really positive, lively discussion about it in the comments. Or you can freak out on me. I'm fat, bald. The curtains in my living room look weird. I get that insult a lot. Got the curtain trolls. And the mostly common thing that I get is you're wrong. You can't have that opinion. But I do have that opinion, and that is the one that is correct. So, also, if you're still here, check out, I got a discount on Dubby, which is a really great energy drink that doesn't give you the jitters. It tastes really good. It's really, really sweet. You can make it super sour if you want to. But I'm on a journey to hear every song ever recorded, so I hope you subscribe, like, comment, and share, all that stuff. And let's keep on making fun of some bands here on the channel.